The evening inbox discovers what percentage of players complete COD's story campaigns, as another reader learns the joys of Metal Gear. To join in with the discussions yourself, email gamecentral@acmetro.co.uk. I bought my first Call of Duty in probably 4 years with World War II. I bought it for the campaign and its brief 15 hours of gameplay resonated with me. It didn't drag or bore. Black Ops 4 won't be bought by me this year. Big budget games should really have a campaign, especially at a £50 price tag. Call of Duty's name was built on its set pieces. I know you had commented that there shouldn't be an issue with multiplayer-only games. I just feel for the occasional gamer that gets it at Christmas only to find it's got no campaign. The same can be said about Battlefront, Battlefield, and Grand Theft Auto. On a separate note, I'd recently finished God of War and finally finished Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I hadn't planned on playing God of War as I hadn't played any of the previous series, but wow, one of the best games of this generation. The similar thing can be said for me completing my first ever Zelda and giving Bloodborne a decent go. I wonder how many people get out their own gaming comfort zone and try something new. I've done this more this generation even though I've probably played fewer titles. Interestingly, I've certainly completed a larger percentage of said games. Keep up the good work. Federic PSNID, Vaderb, Steam, NNID. I'm with Nebutronical, who posted about his newfound appreciation for Metal Gear Solid. Like him, I had never played one, always believing it wasn't my cup of tea. I usually play first-person shooters, like Battlefield, along with other games like Ghost Recon, Wildlands and GTA Online. The game is phenomenal, if a little difficult for me. It's a steep learning curve on stealth as I usually rush in, guns blazing. However, I'm relishing the challenge and I look forward to more Metal Gear Solid games in the near future. Rich GC. To be fair, Metal Gear Solid V is quite different to the others. Also, with Hideo Kojima gone, we're not sure most fans actually want more, especially given how Metal Gear Survive turned out. I was playing the Onrush beta on PlayStation 4 over the weekend, and while the gameplay does seem quite shallow, I found myself getting sucked in by it, and in the end I really enjoyed playing it. I usually don't bother with online multiplayer in games, but I did find this really good despite the frustration of constantly getting taken out by my own teammates. Whilst I did really enjoy the beta, I'm not sure that I would buy it as a full-price release unless there was a single-player mode. It seemed like it would be all online, so I'll probably wait a month or two for the price to drop before I pick it up. But I can't really seem to find much info about it online though. Does GC know if it will have single-player mode? Ricky Ratpack Gamertag, Rick and Rolla, PSNID, GC, we're not sure actually. It might not have a career mode, but we're sure it's got single-player of some sort. Email your comments to gamecentral@acmetro.co.uk. It's an interesting week for releases. H1Z1 is free to play and out on PlayStation 4 tomorrow. I love online shooters and I'm drawn to the central appeal of Battle Royale, but I haven't fully taken to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or Fortnite. PUBG has too much inactivity in it and I dislike the building mechanic in Fortnite. So I'm very happy to check out H1Z1 to see if its arcadey style minus tedious building is my jam. Runner 3 drops for Switch and PC. I'll wait for the PlayStation 4 releases, but Runner 2 sits up there with Braid, Hotline Miami, and to be honest, a rather large collection now of excellent titles is one of my favorite indie games. Gaming, which I know is a loose and maybe no longer relevant term to describe non-AAA titles, is extremely strong these days. Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, a stretch goal for Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night is out. As homages to 8-bit gaming, though it's going to be hard to beat Shovel Knight, but Curse of the Moon looks interesting enough to make it worth a look. I wasn't going to bother with the minimal remaster of Dark Souls, but as its release gets closer I can feel myself making a purchase. It's a bona fide classic after all. I know GC is no fan of David Cage, but Detroit Become Human looks a bit more interesting than either Heavy Rain or that other one with the girl from The Last of Us. Simondo Jones, upon reading your review on Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, I noticed you said it is being released on Nintendo Switch. However, when I went to take a look on Amazon, it has a release date of the 31st of December 2018. I would absolutely love to play this in portable mode and hope that the Switch version hold up against the other versions. I hadn't played the original and thought it would be the prime time to dive in so that I'm ready for when the sequel comes out, so I purchased it for my Xbox One for £19.99 on Amazon, and so far I am really enjoying it, only 2 to 3 hours in. I just wish they would release it on Switch too, as I can see I'm going to need to sink quite a few hours into it, and having it on the go would be ideal. DJKJGC, December 31st is obviously a placeholder date, but then none of the console versions have a specific date yet. Whilst I only played the Call of Duty campaigns when I previously bought the games, ditching it in 2018 makes perfect business sense for Activision. True Achievement said only 22% of players completed the campaign on Call of Duty World War II and only 4% completed Black Ops III's campaign. I have only played the latter of those two and it was pretty dull. I vaguely remember reading one of their devs saying last week that now only 10% of players play the campaign, which may well have been true for something like Black Ops 3 with that low completion rate. Don't get me wrong, it is a risky move, but I can't see it affecting sales too much, and they may even include a campaign down the line or let people scratch that itch with Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, when it is inevitably released. I have a question for you as well, GC. Were you at the Games Media Bread List Awards on Thursday? I noticed you didn't win anything, which I find disappointing given I certainly see you as the leader in UK gaming journalism, and especially through the way you engage your readers and fans, primarily as inboxers. Natterdom GC, that's nice of you to say. We've only ever been nominated when the site was connected to the newspaper. They only share the same name nowadays. We're not sure if that's because of some specific rule, but we don't really care. For what it's worth, we tend to believe the rumor that Black Ops 4 was meant to have a story campaign, but something went wrong during development. Today's rumor suggests that next year's Modern Warfare 4 will go back to having one. LTRFTW here, having read all the way back to the Digitizer days. I love arcade machines, but the best are the more modern cabinets. Outrun 2, Police 24/7, Dancing Stage Fusion, and The Diamond in the Crown, Star Wars Battle Pod, the Darth Vader sit-down deluxe version. It really is an amazing experience, actually flying the Death Star trench run, and really should be ported to the PlayStation VR. I wanna be Rebel Alliance pilot, Dave Boswell. Catch up on every previous game's inbox here. I went to a retro game event called Revival on Saturday. There was a queue. As I couldn't think of a good question, I used the one from the weekend's Hot Topic, although I asked them both what 3 arcade machines they would like to own if they could. Ian said Defender, Pac-Man, and a 4-player link-up Mario Kart machine. Mr. Biffo said Atari Star Wars, Space Invaders, and the huge Ridge Racer setup where you sit in a full-size car to play it. Incidentally, Ian Lee's Thumb Candy is on YouTube and well worth a watch. It's probably the best documentary on the history of video games ever made. Tim Keeling GC, is it available officially though? It doesn't seem to be on Ian Lee's channel. The only thing I don't like about God of War is that there's no actual people. Who exactly was everyone a god of? Nobody seems to live there. Param Re, game cabinets I'd own. Virtual on Sit Inversion and Gunblade NY, hands down. And on the subject for this weekend's inbox was suggested by reader Teflon, who asked what's the worst game you currently own? Even if it's not actually that bad, what would you say is the worst game you currently have access to, either digitally or via physical media? How did you come to own the game and why do you still have it? If the game was free, what's the worst game that you actually paid money for? What's wrong with the game, in your opinion, and did you expect it to be different or did it just end up being something you didn't enjoy? What kind of hit rate do you have in terms of buying games that you're happy with and those that end up a disappointment? Email your comments to gamecentral@metro.co.uk. The small print new inbox updates appear twice daily, every weekday morning and afternoon. Readers' letters are used on merit and may be edited for length. You can also submit your own 500 to 600 word 4-player viewer features at any time, which if used will be shown in the next available weekend slot. If you need quick access to the Game Central channel page, please use www.metro.co.uk/games and don't forget to follow us on Twitter.